Vibers, welcome back to shon.vibes, the place where we have fun with our tarot. If you happen to be new here, my name is Shon and I am so happy that you are joining us. Speaking of fun, we're about to do a tarot reading today to talk about how you can have more fun in your life. Now, a lot of us struggle with anxiety. It can keep us from sleeping well. It can keep us from getting a good start on our day. It can make us uncoordinated and unbalanced during our day. It can cause us outright depression, pain. And did you know that the majority of the things that we have anxiety about are not even ours? We are carrying things that don't belong to us. Something someone said, something someone did, conditioning we got from our childhood, any of that stuff. The thing that your boss at work said to you today. See, this is why I don't have a boss. Anyway, so today we are going to be taking a look at what you are currently carrying that is not even yours, so that you can let it go and enjoy your life more. Let's take a look at your 3 piles. Okay, so if you feel as though you would like to pick your pile intuitively, you can. You see I have separated the Moonology deck by 3 piles, and I've placed on each one a clear quartz crystal. So see if one of those piles is calling to you, or if one of those crystals is calling to you, and you can make your selection that way and find the timestamp leading to your reading in the description box of this video. However, if you like my habit of placing a quote and a flower as your selector, those are here. So you have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Take a second, take a look, see which of these piles is calling to you. And then, as I said a second ago, head on down to the description box and find the timestamp that will lead you to your reading. I will see you there. Hi, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. So today we are taking a look at what you are carrying that doesn't belong to you. And our goal here is to get you some mental freedom, emotional freedom, personal freedom, and stop feeling so heavy when you probably don't need to feel as heavy. I'm not saying that this reading is going to cure all your ills, all that ails you. However, it will help to know if you are currently over concerned with or trying to fix something that's really somebody else's problem, somebody else's hang up, somebody else's fear, limiting belief, or concern. So let's start with, I'm just going to scoot your oracle deck over. And this is the crystal that brought you in. I'm going to put that right over here. We're actually going to start by pulling from the tarot to see what the thing is that you are carrying. And then we're going to get your oracle guidance from the Moonology deck. So we have 6 of Swords. Look at that. Now, most of the time when we get 6 of Swords, we are very, very happy because it tends to mean that we are moving forward in our thinking process, our way of assessing or framing life, from beliefs and even words that we would use that weren't serving us, weren't helping us or the people around us in any effective or functional way, towards more clarity of thought around possibly a specific subject, ourselves, or the way we view the world. So I tend to feel this is a healing card. But what I'm getting for you guys, group 1, is that this is indicating you are carrying someone else's old, outdated thoughts that they feel a lot of stress and pressure towards moving forward from. So to give an example, you might have someone that you're super close to. Let's just use mothers as an example, because, the irony of the mother-child relationship, particularly for adult children, is that the mother is supposed to take care of their children. But if you have a mother that is fragile, severely codependent, sees herself as weak in any way, has gone through a lot of trauma herself, you can find that you were parentified as a child. That instead of you being taken care of, it became your responsibility to take care of your mother, possibly physically take care of her, as in, maybe getting a job very early to help contribute to the home, or, doing more than your share of chores instead of getting to be outside and have fun and be free like a child should, because the mom was a single parent, or again, just felt overwhelmed in her life and needed that support. Or it can be, and I feel like this is the case here with you all, a mother who had a way of looking at life, and therefore a way of talking about her life, and subsequently then a way of creating her life, that was steeped in, again, vulnerability, possibly codependency, definitely weakness or victimhood. And so instead of her teaching you how to think in functional ways, teaching you to believe in yourself, teaching you to know your worth, you did the shift first. You experienced what you did living with this mom, or perhaps even not living with her. I'm actually going to put this right back here because I just like it there. Sorry, side note. Or possibly, not living with her because she was otherwise occupied with maybe, the wrong relationships that kept her focus on dysfunctional people, or again, just having to work too much because of the financial needs of the family and not earning enough in any one job to be able to comfortably feel like she could care for you. So something made you go, the way she's living, or if it's a father, the way he's living isn't working. I want to be different. I want my life to be different than that. You probably really truly thought, I want to be better than that. And so you set upon a course of learning or healing for yourself that taught you new ways of thinking and feeling, and therefore speaking, or rather it's thinking, then speaking, and therefore feeling, which helped you to move from those beliefs that don't serve towards thoughts and words that do help you to create a more functional life. And then, because of the love you have for your family members or your friends, but this is definitely, I feel, rooted in family of origin, and I strongly think it's about the parents, trying to give that back to them. And so then when this parent says certain things that are self-defeating or limiting in any way, steeped in victimhood, you try to make them feel better. You try to make them think better. You give them the words. You may even have provided them with tools like, just to give you an example from my own life, it's almost 2 decades ago now, when I first started shifting my energy in the world, I came across the book The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. And I got so much from that book. I, of course, felt the need to share that with other people. And one of the people that I chose to share it with, and I bought it for her for Christmas, was my own mother, who I am pretty sure to this day has never read it. And that is not a judgment. If she happens to be watching, I'm not judging you, no. It's not a judgment. It's just that I remember the reaction that she had when I gave it to her. And I could feel that it was not a welcome gift. And the irony of it is, man, could she have benefited from that at that time. Now, to my mom's credit, she is doing more inner work now, or I don't know if she's actually doing inner work. I don't know that that's her thing, but she is trying to shift now how she frames life and how she speaks about it, whether it is coming from a place of authenticity or it's internally driven at all or not. That is not for me to say. I do not know, but I do know she's talking differently now, right? And so you may have done something like that yourself, given tools, shared with them, the parent or other family member, sibling. I'm definitely getting that it's as possible for it to be a sibling as a parent, because it's someone that you love so much. You want them to feel the benefit that you have felt from these changes yourself, Some of it could be helping them to reframe what they're saying when they're saying it, or trying to introduce them to new concepts, new people, maybe even taking them to certain kinds of events. And then, as I mentioned, providing them with certain tools like books, or maybe teaching them about scripting or anything like that. So what you're carrying that's not yours, group one, is responsibility for someone else's thought process and feelings about what their life is. That is not yours, and you cannot rescue them from it. Whew. So, like in this particular card, this would be you. The one rowing the boat would be you. And then this would be the person, the covered person would be the person you're trying to save. And then the other passenger that you may not consciously be aware of in your real life is this person here who is their inner child. Let's see what comes up for you from the Moonology deck as far as guidance is in dealing with this. So, what guidance can we give to group one around carrying this which is not theirs? What can we tell? Oh, wow. All right. Did y'all see that? You have, the end of a tough cycle approaches. For sure. End of a tough cycle. And I'm getting that this could have two different meanings for you guys, okay? One of those meanings being how hard it is and how hard it has been to try to help this person shift their thinking and the way they speak. And you are now at a place where you're just like, you know what? I can't do this for you. You're realizing how little control you actually have over somebody else's life experience. And maybe that's why you were drawn to this pile today. But I'm also getting that for some of you, it's actually an encouragement that the person who you were thinking of, oh, I just got that for someone here. It is a coworker that you've been trying desperately to help, someone who really struggles at work. They might be extraordinarily disorganized, and you maybe have been picking up the slack for them a lot in their work, or trying really hard to help them get up to speed or be more functional in the job. And in that case, definitely you're getting to the point of where you're just like, no, I can't help you. I've tried. This is like, I'm doing double work at my job now because of you, or close to double work, something like that. And then for others of you, end of a tough cycle approaches is speaking to the fact that the person that you have been trying to help, they are starting to get it. They're starting to get it on their own. And, not to detract from anything that you may have contributed to bring them to where they are going, but other aspects of life have been informing them as well. Their guides, their higher self has been sending them signs and synchronicities, messages, wisdoms through many channels to help them start to see how the way they are thinking or speaking has not been serving them and helping them make a change. So that is, wow. Definitely, that's something to celebrate, Be mindful of being over-attached to the person's healing or shifting. Remember where you are because of years and years and years of having applied yourself in this way. And for them, it is still brand new. So you're like a 12th grader where they're a kindergartner. So to the extent that you can, I'm also getting to tell you to like remove yourself, divorce yourself from the experience that they are about to have, because it is their journey, whether it's their emotional journey or their psychological journey or their soul's journey. It is not yours. And you may need to think of it as you are done. You've done your part. Now you move on to something else. If you feel this is your calling to help people in this way, move on to someone else. But if you were only motivated here because of your love for this person, because of the closeness you have for them, or the affinity, if it's a work situation, the affinity you have for them, that might not be as strong as love, now redirect those energies towards you in your life. You can always elevate more. You can always ascend more. So even though you have had some change and you have had some growth, there is more to come if you will let it. Okay, group one, that is what I have for you today. Listen, I want to let you know that I have recently introduced a new item in my Etsy shop. It is custom meditation, custom guided meditation, where you get to pick the topic of your meditation. You get to pick the type of background music between classical, soft jazz, or wind chimes. And you get to tell me whether or not you would like any spirit guides included in this meditation. I've been wanting to offer meditations in the shop for a while now, so this is the beginning of my starting to offer it. There are more to come that are already pre-made guided meditations, but the one that is available for you to get right now, if you have an interest in that, a desire for it, it can help you with your own reprogramming, is the custom recorded guided meditation. So if you have questions about that, you know you can always reach out to me here or through the Etsy shop itself. I will also be selling these on shon.vibes, which, in case you don't know, things are less expensive on my website than on Etsy. The prices are the same, but Etsy charges tax where the website does not, because since I live in California, there is no tax on digital products. So Etsy is like charging y'all more when you order there than when you order on my website. Just want to let you know that. Anyway, okay guys, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you, and I will see you in my next one. Bye. Hi there, group 2, and welcome to your reading. So in case you skipped the intro, today we're taking a look at what you are carrying that isn't yours. And we're doing that so we can lighten your load, right? Sometimes we are traveling with anxieties that were inherited or programmed in us from other people, or that we just picked up by being around them and seeing how certain things in life were, oh gosh, did you hear that? Certain things, this might pertain to many of you because of that honking horn that we just had so loudly. The way you've watched them process life or experience life, and you being of an empathetic nature, have started carrying that burden, initially possibly with them and now for them. And I'm also getting to say that for this group, some of you may have begun to own it as your own, even when it wasn't. So I'm going to move your oracle cards and crystal over here, because we're actually going to start with the tarot pull to get a sense of what it is that you are carrying that isn't yours. And then we'll get your guidance from the oracle card next, all right? So let's see, what is group 2 carrying that isn't even theirs? Oh, thank you. That they can feel free to let go of. Oh, wow. Honey, everything. Everything. So here you have clearly the 10 of Wands card. And you noticed from the thumbnail, which I actually did design before doing your readings today, this is the actual card that I used in the thumbnail, because the 10 of Wands is about being overburdened. It is about carrying more than you can on your own. And what I'm getting for you, group 2, is this is a habitual way of existing for you. Okay, so it's not one specific thing that you're carrying that's really belonging to one specific person, but it's more along the lines of feeling over responsible for the well-being of others, to the extent that your empathy makes you own their troubles, own their worries. Someone tells you about something that's going on in their life or going wrong for them, or that they've experienced, and you over-identify with it, and you feel very compelled and very motivated to not just speak encouraging words to them or be a presence for them to discuss what it is they're experiencing, but to actually get involved helping them rectify the situation, or move forward from that situation into something else. You guys might find yourselves often in drama because you're not just experiencing life from what the universe or whatever deity you believe in brings your way, or even just the choices you make bring your way, but you are doing what's known as borrowing trouble. It's going to sound, listen, I'm going to just warn you, it might sound judgy coming from me going forward, because I do have strong beliefs around boundaries and self-care. And I just want to apologize for that ahead of time. I don't mean to sound judgy with anything that I'm saying for the next few minutes. But it's so important for you not to feel as though you have to live other people's lives for them. I am getting that for the majority of you. This is a subconscious thing that you're doing. You are not consciously trying to solve these people's problems. But for instance, I'm going to give you an example. I'm not going to mention who it is, and I'm going to try to be as vague about this as possible to not put someone else on blast. But there's someone that I know and care very deeply for. Love, actually. There's someone that I know and love who is constantly having drama with her husband and his family. And this would bother me so much, and I would always try to give this person, this loved one of mine, encouragement around it, and also guidances on how to set boundaries in this situation, and also just how to themselves not be as triggered by it, to feel as though there was anything they even had to do, because some of what was happening, some of these dramas that were coming up, they're optional. Like, here's the thing, guys, people can say shit and you don't have to respond. That's a thing. You know, people can take certain actions that you don't actually have to react to or be a part of. But this person that I love dearly could not get there, could not see that. And it's because of her own very sensitive, empathetic nature. She herself is probably one of these people that is taking on, other people's things. I don't really see her that way, truly. It's mostly in this particular scenario. And then one day I had to come to the point where I said, you know what? And I told Justin this. I said, I just have to accept that she's in a dysfunctional relationship and has a dysfunctional family, and that's hers. I kept wanting her to not have that. And this might be a big motivator for you a lot of times with people, in not wanting them to struggle with or have what they're experiencing that has its negative energy around it. You step in and try to save them, for lack of a better word. And in so doing, that now becomes a part of your energy and your life experience and your vibration. And so without you setting out to have dramas or be a person who creates dramas, by inserting yourself, even from a place of trying to help, in that person's situation whenever they have situations, and God forbid if there's somebody who has them like many times a week or even several times a month. Shit, even a couple times a year is too much. And every time you're going into the fray with them, seeing yourself as a support, seeing yourself as a protector, a defender. I'm getting a lot of defender energy. And then it affects your day, your life, your health. And if you're doing this with multiple situations or multiple people, then you might just feel like life is constant drama, a never-ending drama. And that is not what life is. And it's certainly not what your life has to be. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to move your crystal and we're going to grab from the Moonology deck and find out what your guidance is right now around this. Though I feel like so much has already come through, right? What guidance do we have for group 2 right now about what they're carrying? Other people's lives. I'm getting to tell you, other people's lives are not your own. It's okay to be a bystander. It's okay to be an observer. When asked for, it's okay to be a guide. But you do not have to live it with them. You do not have to own it. Those of you, if there's, I'm getting adult mothers. If you're a mother of adult children, this is particularly hard for you, this letting go that is called for, because the biological nature of that connection between you and your adult children makes you feel as though you have to help them. You look at them and you see the little kid that you helped tie their shoes, the baby that you helped to nurse, or not help to nurse. God, how did you help? You can't help nurse. The baby that you nursed. Like, wait, you knew what I meant, right? I hope you did. Anyway, it's like, I'm not a mother. I've never been a mother. I've never wanted to be a mother. It's not a desire of mine. However, there was this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful boy that came into my life with 4 legs and a lot of orange fur. And he turned me into a mother. Every maternal instinct that I could have had came out in the care of him. I had him for 19 and a half years, my Casper. And he, every time I would look at him, I saw the baby version of him. Every time. Even though, like I said, he lived to 19 and a half. And like, I remember one Christmas in particular, we were visiting North Carolina, my family down in Charlotte, and my sister's husband's father was warning my nieces to be careful with Casper because he was an old cat. And y'all, this was like 5 years ago, maybe 6 years. No, it can be 6 years ago because they were like 2 and they're 6 now. So 4 years ago, my nieces. And they weren't, being hard on him by any means. But he was, warning them to be careful with him because he was an old cat. And I didn't see it. It wasn't until after Casper passed away that I was able to see what Terry saw, my sister's husband's father. He having been around more cats probably than I have in my life, he could recognize the signs of an old cat. So even though he didn't know how long I'd had that cat, he could see that Casper was old. But when I looked at Casper, I saw a baby. I oftentimes would wrap him up in a blanket and, swaddle him and rock him like he was my baby, even through his 19 and a half year. I don't know how to make that into, what I'm trying to say. Year 19 and a half, like his whole life. That's what he was to me. And so if you are a mom, this probably happens with you, with your children. And so you want what's best for your children. There is a part of you that biologically needs your children to have the best life possible. And yet, if they're adults, they are making choices daily that are out of your control. Okay, so guidances for group 2, please, around what they are carrying that does not belong to them. I'm getting to tell you, some of you, you would do well to find in Codependence Anonymous, ACOA, or ACOA. ACOA stands for Adult Children of Alcoholics, Codependence Anonymous, and the other one is Al-Anon. One of those meetings might be very helpful for you. If you don't feel comfortable going to one of those meetings right now, there's a lot of recordings, speaker recordings from those kinds of meetings on YouTube. But you might get some insights there that can help you with detachment. Detachment is called for. Again, though, I'm sure that, let's see what comes through in the cards. The things that have come through just, from the channeling I have shared. Let's see what else comes through. Guidances for group 2 around this, please. What can we tell group? Thank you. A new start is coming. Okay. Oh, group 2. The message here for you is that, and it pains me to say this, which is why the pausing, there will always be another one. You help this person through whatever it is they're experiencing, whatever the trouble is. It could be one particular person in your life. It could be it could be, anybody that's in your life that you feel connected to. And you guys wrap that up and you think all is well. And then here comes another one, a new one, you see. If there is a particular person who is constantly having these traumas, it's that this person is not getting to, and they may never get to the place where they are not creating this in their lives. There's going to be another one after this one, and another one after this one, and another one after this one, okay? And then if it's a situation where you are spreading the love, And it's not just one person that you're trying to help in this way. You get one person helped out, and then here comes somebody else who you feel the need to own their realities and get involved with what's going on for them. If you are somebody who works in a field like a social services field, I'm getting to tell you to remember to divorce your work life from your personal life. Do not take the same skills and activities that you have to do in the work life, again, like if you're a social worker or something like that, into how you deal with the people in your family. You are made a certain way, which gives you a certain amount of compassion and empathy for others, which may trigger certain feelings in you, but you do not have to act on those feelings. Remember that every time you get involved with something, every time you interact with anything or anybody, you are bringing their vibration, bringing that thing's vibration into your body, into your experience. It will always, always, always happen. There will always be another one. There will always be a new one. There are always opportunities to step into someone else's situation. And in becoming mindful of it, perhaps you can lessen the amount of dramas that you're experiencing. Like for some of you, I'm getting that you've been having to go to court for people, or post bail for people, like there's or showing up to the house, like because like in domestic violence situations, the cops have been called, and so you become a part of it that way. I really do hope it doesn't sound like I'm saying don't care about anybody else. I'm saying no, stay in your lane, know your role. How much is yours to help? In what ways can you help? Who is yours to help? There are some people who like to go around saying we are responsible for the whole world. That is a load of crap. I do not believe that at all. You have your circle of or your sphere of responsibility. Be clear, group 2, on who that is for you. And then also be clear about what is theirs and what is yours and where you can be helpful to them, not at the detriment of the self. This is very important for your joy, for your happiness, for your relief from anxiety. Okay? But there will always be another drama that you could step into if you choose to. Be mindful of that. There could be a little bit of projection that happens when it comes to like stepping into dramas that aren't yours, that belong to people that you don't even know. My mother there's once I had to have a conversation with my mother about doing that, because it's something that she saw happening on the street between cops and someone. And it wasn't something like, oh, you need to interfere. Like, we need to record this because the cops are beating up this person. It wasn't anything as extreme as that. But cops were questioning these people with who had their children out. I can't remember the exact details of it, but I think they were panhandlers. And the children were with them, and it was hot because, we're from the South. It was down in North Carolina, and the cops were talking to this family and trying to get them to move along. And then my mother inserted herself in that. And as she and I talked about it more, because she then got really put out by how the cops then talked to her, I had to remind her that she had stepped into their situation. It wasn't hers to even deal with. That wasn't her Saturday until she made it her Saturday. And then my mother said, yeah, but I just kept thinking about those kids out there in the heat. So my mom had projected a need onto this family that was based on her own life experience that had nothing to do with what was happening in that moment. Because if the concern really was about those kids out in the heat, then maybe be on the cop side for trying to help them move along instead of being outside panhandling. Again, no judgment is intended here. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm being judgy, but anyway, so just know what is yours, who is yours, and make your choices accordingly. Okay, group 2? I hope that was helpful. I hope it was clear. Anyway, this is what I have for you today. Before we go, I want to let you know that I've just introduced into my Etsy shop, and it will soon also be on shon.vibes.com, custom guided meditations. They will be recorded meditations voiced by me for you, where you get to decide what the topic is, the background music for the meditation. So that could be either classical, soft jazz, or wind chimes, and whether or not you want me to include any of your spirit guides in that meditation, because I will be writing the meditation. I'll be writing the meditation from scratch before recording it. If that is something that you feel that you are interested in, you should definitely check that out. The custom is available now and on Etsy, and I will be including some pre-recorded guided meditations too. Those are just not up in the Etsy shop yet. And also, just so you know, in case I've never mentioned it to you guys, when you buy something from shonwilson.com, it costs you less than when you buy it on Etsy, because while the prices are the same, Etsy, this is for the personal readings in particular, Etsy charges you sales tax because of how they have me delineated on their site. That's probably not the word I mean, but anyway, the way they have it categorized on their site as a physical item. So they're charging you tax for those readings. But the readings are actually a digital product, which, because I live in the state of California, there is no tax on digital products. So when you buy it from my website, you aren't getting charged tax. You just get charged the for sale price. So something I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of. Okay, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate you, and I will see you in my next one. Bye. Hey, group 3, and welcome to your reading. In case you skipped the intro, today we are looking at what you are carrying that isn't yours. And the goal is to make you aware of it so that you can, well, I don't know, let go of it and have more peace, less anxiety, possibly even more joy in your life. So here is the Moonology deck and the clear quartz crystal that brought you to this reading, possibly, unless you picked based on the quote and the flower that I put up. We're just going to push those over for just a second, because we're going to find out what it is that you're carrying with the use of our tarot deck. This is the Universal Weight Tarot. So let's find out, what can we tell group 3 about what they're carrying? What is group 3 carrying that isn't even theirs? What is group 3 carrying right now? Oh, look at that. That isn't theirs. Okay, we have, oh, honey, the responsibility for your relationship. I'm getting that several of you in this group, if not all of you in this group, are taking too much responsibility for what is happening right now in a relationship. This could be a love relationship, and I'm getting for a lot of you it is a love relationship, but for others of you it could be just a very close friendship, someone in your family, or a working relationship that is non-negotiable. So somebody from like the work that you do that may be part of your team, as opposed to you own your own business and it's a client that you work with, or anything like that. It's someone where there is implied closeness, or there's actual closeness because of how you are in each other's life. Okay, so again, if it's your love life, that's clearly someone that you're close to. If it's a family member, same deal. If it is a personal friend, same deal. And then if it's in the work environment, it's someone who you have to work with on a regular basis, not where it's optional. And I'm getting that because of your I'm getting, for some of you, it's about a sense of personal responsibility and knowing, or at least feeling and believing, that you can always do something about a situation. You are feeling like this is for you to fix. But for some of you, I am getting that this is a feeling that you have that's motivated by feelings of... there may be a scapegoat tendency in you. You may have been scapegoated in your family of origin or your friend group growing up, where everything was always your fault. You were made to blame for whatever happened that wasn't going right. Some of you may have just been born feeling that sense of responsibility to your dynamic with others, even without it being programmed in you by the family of origin or by your friend group. It could just be that you at once feel very open and vulnerable so that you are aware of other people's feelings or what other people might need, yet at the same time feel a sense of empowerment as though you are someone who can do something about a thing. Whichever of those three groups feels like you to you, or maybe even one that I haven't mentioned, there's something in you that makes you feel like what's going wrong with this relationship, this challenging relationship, this difficult relationship, you've been feeling like it is either yours to fix or outright been feeling like it is your fault. And so you keep trying to make it better. You keep trying to do things to improve the situation. In some cases, to try to make the other person like you or make the other person show you respect, make the other person value you. I'm getting that for some of you. There's something in here around constantly feeling unappreciated. This is something that you carry around inside of you, no matter who you're dealing with. It just is very exacerbated with this particular person. And if you identify with that, then yes, you absolutely do have a dysfunctional family background that has led you to see yourself as not worthy or not being valued. And because that was your first imprinting of yourself, you project that onto other people in other situations where it might not actually be the case. They may just be so in their own head or dealing with their own thing that they're just not thinking about you. So it's not necessarily that they don't value you. You're just not a factor. But you might go, well, then that means they don't value me. No, it just means you're not a factor. You know, everybody doesn't always notice other people or care about them. You know, some of us are built that way and some of us are not. And, you know, there's another group in here that you might have also been drawn to, or maybe not. But whether you were or not, I'm going to share with you something that I said with them. Not everybody and everything is our sphere of responsibility, you know? And so there are some people who are lucky enough to know that, even though they're not selfish. There are some selfish people that just don't think about others. And then there are some people who they grew up in a healthy enough situation or developed it on their own where they have a sense of what is theirs and what is not theirs. And they don't feel the need to always make the other person or persons that they're dealing with a priority, because everybody isn't a priority. There are people in your life that are, and there are people in your life that are literally just passersby. Even if they are people that you deal with on a regular basis, the level of importance they should have to your life should not be the same as the level of importance, say, for instance, your child has, or less extreme example, your sibling has, okay? And I'm getting that for some of you, there's a tendency to give everybody the same level of importance, which means in some way you are elevating every person that you interact with, which, as I put it to one of my private reading clients recently, it's making them a king. The habit of making other people into king and yourself as subject in your thinking. So the dynamic is lopsided, right? And so this is part of what's going on here in this dynamic for some of you. And then again, for others, it's because you come from a mindset of, I can do something about anything. You know, you might very much identify with like Tony Robbins and other motivational speakers of his energy that are, or even any of these entrepreneur and self-empowerment gurus that are on social media a lot, mostly YouTube. And there's this, they have a very Newtonian physics mindset around what it is we're able to control in life. If you do this, then you get that, right? Sometimes, you know, not always, because what's not coming into the equation when they speak like that, when they guide others in that way, is those things which we don't control. The role of the divine or the universe in our experiences, or the role of other people and the choices that they get to make through their free will. So I am getting to tell you guys, again, whichever of these three camps or four camps at this point, I think it is, you fall into, remember that not everything is on you. Not everything is your fault, and other people do have responsibilities. And this has a double meaning, okay? One, they have responsibility towards solving a problem or fixing a relationship or helping to right size it or balance it. In some regards, that's the truth. And then the other side of everybody has a responsibility is what's going wrong might actually be their fault. That's their responsibility. They're playing into it. It's not necessarily that you're doing something wrong. Some of you have a hard time associating blame. Nope, that's not the word. Some of you have a hard time assigning blame to other people. And again, if that resonates for you, you are one of those people who has been scapegoated over and over and over again. You may at once feel a dual sense of powerlessness and being all powerful. And this creates all kinds of conflict inside of you, which then gets played out in your interactions with other people. Let's take a look at your oracle card. Let's find out from the Moonology deck what your guidance is around this. What guidance do we have for group 3 about how to let go of that? So again, remember our messages today are around what you are carrying that isn't yours. And it's a sense of, just to say it more succinctly than I have so far, I think, a sense of it. Ooh, okay. That's not succinct. Let me try that again. A sense of responsibility for what is going on in a particular connection. Okay. Or the sense of it being your fault, to make it even clearer. That's what you're carrying. That's not really yours. It's not your fault. It's just not. Do you hear me? It's not your fault. Regardless of if you ever find out what the cause for this troubled dynamic is, you may never find out. That's a thing. You know, there's this word that people started using a lot, I think in the 80s. I don't know because I was technically a kid in the 80s, but I think in the 80s, definitely by the 90s when I was a young adult, of closure. And so we always think that we're supposed to get closure on things or have an understanding of why things happen. This is fallacy. This is not true. This is not always the case. Sometimes we never find out why a thing happened the way it went, why a person acted the way they did, why a dynamic is the way it is. And what I'm hoping that this reading gives to you is a sense of being able to move forward for yourself without necessarily needing to know why. And a lot of times when we don't know why something is happening, that can be why we assign the blame to ourselves. Again, this is a mindset that was, or a mental pattern that's developed in childhood, because as a child, you can't blame your parents because your parents are gods to you. They are seemingly all powerful. So whatever is happening, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing in that home, it can't be their fault, even if they are literally the perpetrator, possibly in some cases, even the abuser. And you blame yourself. And that habit starts early. Or that action, that mental action starts early, and then it becomes a habit, and then it becomes a mental pattern. So know that this is not your fault. This troubled dynamic is not your fault. Guidance for group 3, please. Thank you. All right, we got believe in the impossible. Okay, hey, group 3, here's the thing. So some of y'all, when I said it's not your fault and the other person might be at fault, they may be doing a certain thing, there was a part of you that went, there's no way. It has to be me. There is a way. And your reading today is telling you it isn't you. Now, in some of these cases, you guys, it may not even be the other person. It could just be each of you together. That, you know how some things just don't mix? It could also be that. But break your thinking. Believe in the impossible is about breaking how we think about something, right? Allowing for a different possibility than that which we already can subscribe to and feel confident about. We can feel confident about it being our fault when we're used to thinking everything is our fault. But what we are being told here is believe that it is possible that it's not your fault. It is not impossible for it to be the other person. I don't know that I said that right, but you get what I'm saying. So what you are currently deeming as impossible, believe it as possible. That's the message. For some of you, and this is going to be hard to hear, for some of you, it is hard for you to believe that this can't get fixed. Allow yourself to believe that as a possibility. There are some dynamics that should just be released, even if it's a member of your family. If it's a work situation for you and you have to keep working with this person and that is something that you can't help, letting go of the idea of it ever being harmonious. Okay? So for you, it's impossible that y'all can keep working together without having harmony. Yeah, you can. And so for you, it's about being not comfortable, but getting used to the idea of having to deal with someone with whom there is no harmony. Working with someone with whom there is no harmony. There is no alignment, but you're stuck with this person anyway. There's this movie, I can't remember what it's called, but it starred Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis. And they were prisoners. They had escaped from prison. I can't remember the details behind the escape, but they were on the run together. And this was done, I think this movie is from the 60s. It's 50s or 60s. It is a black and white film, classic movie, clearly, with Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis in it. And so, you've got the race dynamic there. For those of you who don't know, Sidney Poitier was black and Tony Curtis is white Italian at that. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. And they were prisoners. So you have the trouble dynamic of two prisoners, the trouble dynamic of black and white, given the time frame, the added stakes and pressures of having escaped from prison, and then to top it all off, for the majority of this movie, I think maybe even the whole thing, it's been a while since I've seen it, but the premise of the movie is they were stuck together. They could not go their separate ways because they were handcuffed to each other. So check that movie out. If I can remember to, I will put the title of the movie in the description box here. Check it out just because, it's two great actors doing what they do greatly. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is you might be one of the people who were drawn to this reading today, who finds yourself in a situation where you have to continue to work with someone, or you have to continue to be involved with someone. I do feel like I personally feel it is very easy to walk away from family members who are hard to deal with, or who deliberately make life hard for you. Or not deliberately, because sometimes it is subconscious. But anyway, I have a very easy time walking away from dysfunctional family relationships. This is not something everybody can do. But when it comes to your work environment, that can be even harder for some people because of needing that money for life, right? So if you are one of those people, if that feels like it's your situation, this movie, they eventually do come to, these two guys that are stuck together, they eventually come to have to work together despite their differences. And that's literally the whole point of my bringing that up, that I just kind of, I don't know, I went off on a little bit of a tangent there. But the point is that, yes, it is possible to work with someone even when you don't get along, even when your differences seem too great. You don't have to make this person like you, group 3. You don't have to make it so that y'all are on the same page. You also don't have to change yourself to be amenable to them, or change how you think things are or should be done, or how you feel, in order to be in alignment with their truths. For some of you, there might be, whether it's about work relationships or personal relationships, a tendency to disown your own truth in order to try to get along well with others. You have to be on your own side, even if that means the person or persons that you're dealing with, you are not in harmony with. Don't do just any and everything just to get along. Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't have to be an asshole, but you also have to honor who you are, what you think, what you feel, and what you believe, and also your strengths. Don't forget that, group 3. Okay, this is what I have for you today, group 3. I hope you found it helpful. Before you go, I want to let you know that guided recorded meditations are now available on my Etsy shop and my website. I'm starting this month with a custom guided meditation where you get to choose the topic, the type of background music, whether classical or soft jazz or wind chimes, and whether or not you would like me to include your spirit guides in the affirmations and statements created for the meditation. If this is something that you are interested in, you should definitely check it out. At the time of this recording, it's already up on the Etsy shop. I hope to have this option up for you to buy on the website by the time this video gets posted. And one last thing I want to let you know is the website is less expensive for you to buy things than the Etsy shop. Here's why. I put the same price on both platforms, but when it comes to the personal readings in particular, Etsy charges tax to you because it is delineated as a physical product. whereas it's technically a digital file. And because I live in California, digital products are non-taxed. So when you buy it directly from me on the website, you end up paying less because there's no tax. All right. So no repercussion to you for that because, again, digital product, California, no tax. Boom. Okay. Group 3. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.